Hello and welcome back to Adventures of an Old Sea Dog. In this episode, I'm on a desert island with some friends. Of course, it's not truly a desert island, as you can see by this. There's lots of foliage on it, and that's about it, except for this. Now, there's a bit of history in this one. We've kind of covered some of this before, but in the 1800s, Australia imported prefabricated lighthouses. They were shipped out on ships and then put together on site using rivets, the same way as the Titanic was. There'd be a family of people looking after it, and they of course would have their lives on the island. They'd live and die here. A few more things to be seen, a bit of industrial heritage lying around in the sand, and then this, no men allowed anywhere near these three-testicled birds. Apparently they're very rare here in Australia. Passage planning is all about knowing what's going to happen as far as possible. It's a long voyage tomorrow. It's going to be at least 10 hours, and I wanted to know the exact time it starts to get dark. There are tables published. You can always find them on various sites, sundowners at whatever time. But I wanted to physically see what it looks like at any particular time at this time of year. I mean, I've kind of taken it for granted, but I'm looking at this now. I need to go into a place to anchor. It's now 6:15 and it's still doable. It's still fairly light, so I reckon 7 o'clock is going to be too dark. So up to about 6:30 we're good, which means tomorrow when I set off, that's going to give me a full 12 hours because I'm going to leave at about 6:30 in the morning. This is all part of passage planning. So I'm taking a look at this now and imagining how it's going to be tomorrow when I'm 40 miles up the way there and I need to get in as it's getting dark. We've got speed, yes. I've come up with a new idea. It's basically a preventer attached to the sail. It's the downhaul I have at the back of the sail for doing the third reef. That's stopping that coming round. It's not very traditional, but it works. I just thought, well, if I just keep that envelope of the sail from flipping and it gets the wind behind it and pulls the whole thing over and we jibe, if I just keep it pulled out artificially, so when we come up a little bit too much that we're doing now, it can't flip over and we don't jibe. In fact, it's working now. In 1770, Captain Cook sailed his ship, the Endeavour, along this very coast. Since that time, nothing has changed here. There's no development. There's nothing that can be seen, at least from the sea. This coastline looks today exactly the same as it did back in Cook's day. And this would have been the last little bit of a happy voyage for him, because he nearly came to grief just a few miles up the way from here, on a place which is now called, of course, Endeavour Reef. He hit it and then he went up a little river to repair the ship. He was lucky he got off it, and up that little river is the first place in Australia where people actually stayed for more than just a few days, and is today called Cooktown. Just over there is the Endeavour Reef, somewhere around about here. That's where the Endeavour, Cook's Endeavour, went aground. He had been sailing along the coast and he was trying to avoid these reefs here, that one and that one over there, and he steered out to sea to avoid them. So he was doing as I'm doing now, and I need to actually steer out to sea because the reef comes out, but I have more information than he did. He charted a lot of the world, but he hadn't charted this bit yet. That's why he hit the reef. He didn't know it was there. But whoa, okay. So I'm gonna have to pull out now. I'm gonna stop talking to you. I'm getting a bit close because the reef is a lot closer than the island is, but you can't see it. And that's the danger of reefs, you can't see them. Okay, there's some boats at anchor. That's why we're going to get round. The reef still comes round a fair way here, but not as far as this side. You can see the island there, and the reef stretches all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way up to somewhere over there. You can see why Cook, if he saw that, he's like, oh, and he took a right turn and he ended up going over there and hit another reef which you can't see. Eventually Cook got his boat off the reef and then headed up the coast to try and find somewhere where he could careen the ship, which means dry her out, put her on the side and repair the damage. While the still leaking and sinking Endeavour made her way up the coast, Cook must have been under incredible pressure. Everything relied on him. The lives of his men were at risk here. As it was then, it is for me today, an unlikely looking place around a little headland and salvation. Cook was safe. So this is where Cook came. Yeah. You can see he got lucky here because there's all these mud flaps. I don't know where he careened his boat, but he's got a lot of places he can do it here. Interesting. The first thing I needed to do was find a place to stop. It was incredibly shallow there. The only place I could find was right outside the front of the pub. The town. Couldn't wait to get away from the boat and go and explore. Lots of monuments to various people. These old guns were given by Queen Victoria to the town back in the early 1800s. I think they're probably out of date at the time anyway. Stuff that we didn't want. I'm sure the Aussies can make use of them. The whole town has that frontier feel to it. There's even a propeller. I mean, I don't know what that was doing there. I think this is a post office or something. Then there's a few newer buildings dotted around. I fancy that. And then this. Yeah, and it's for sale. What do you reckon? The new headquarters for Jolly Good Show Productions. Nice. However, I hadn't come to see that or this gentleman who was one of the early explorers. I'd come to see this man, the greatest explorer of all time, Captain James Cook. And then to the pub. Actually, it's not a pub, it's a fish and chip shop. And if you bring your own booze, you're allowed to drink it there, providing you eat their fish and chips. Fair deal, fair dinkum, mate. Yeah, end of a good day. Then back to work. It's shopping day. This is the actual spot where the Endeavour was careened 250 years ago. That's what I wanted. It even comes with deck chairs on the back, look. Yeah. Then I noticed this building. Turns out it's the Cooktown Alcoholics Anonymous. I made note of the address. Shopping is not something I particularly like. I don't think anybody particularly likes it. But especially when you don't have a car, all you have is a little buggy and you've got to get everything on there. It's an art which I've perfected to a good degree, I think. It works well. This is the museum, I think. I really wanted to go in there, but it turns out it's an expensive place to visit. That's something I've been looking forward to, but on principle, I'm not going to pay $25 to go in there. And then I saw this, and I was happy again. Oh, yes. Wow. It's not even any beer in here. And then I did something incredibly stupid. I took my shoes off to push Squeaky into the water, and it's all mud and broken shell. And what did I do? I stood on a broken shell. I lacerated my foot quite badly. With blood everywhere, I dragged my leg in the river while I was going along and realised the crocodiles were in it, so I took it out and mopped it up with these. Then I had to get back on Shaddy. Okay, go, 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 go. Well, the sun is up. I'm a little bit late this morning because I'm waiting for the tide to come down, otherwise I'd be pushing tide, but I think we're good to go. Got everything pretty much rigged up. So I'm going to start the engine and see if I'm lucky today, if it starts, and then we're going to go up the way there. It's one of these places I kind of wish I didn't have to go. This is probably one of the nicest places I've visited. I love it. It's like a little village by the seaside, and it's still got a lot of old buildings from the 1800s. Yesterday I hurt myself, got a nasty gash on the bottom of my foot from a shell buried in the mud. It was a silly thing for me to do. I should have known better. Got myself a bit burnt, had to hand steer for the last 3 and a bit hours. It was just too sloppy, but now we've turned around the headland, the sea is behind us, the wind is more or less behind us, so just having the foresail up now is where it's going to pay dividends. I think we're doing 4.5 knots, maybe 5 now, and we're on course, so I can actually leave the helm, I can tie everything off and get in the shade, which is what I need to do. And I have to eat. I've had an apple today and 2 cups of coffee. That's it, I'm starving. Yet another desert island. Very tempting. That's Cape Flattery. I'm going to go hide behind there for the night. Nice and close to some of this awesome landscape. Where we're going to go, it's surprisingly windy around here. It's gusted up a fair bit. Got to see how the anchor's lying. Yeah, it's very windy here, but it's flat. The thing is, this is a super safe anchorage. I like these anchorages. Whoa. Yeah, you literally drive up. There's all the space in the world. If I was to drag anchor, I'd just drag back over there. The thing is, because we're in this bay, there's no waves. It's flat. The water's flat, so it can blow. Down below it's nice and comfortable. I can sleep safely, I can cook, I can have my life. I'll watch a video or something tonight. I don't think there's any internet here. Middle of nowhere. This is actually Aboriginal land behind me here, and you're not allowed to go ashore without permission. It's about as wild and woolly as it gets. There's nothing here at all. Nothing. That's it. I'll see you tomorrow, boys and girls. Kettle's on for the second time. Hard-boiled eggs are ready for my breakfast on the go. Engine checks have been done. Oil and water okay. Comfy seat at the ready. Cup of coffee just waiting to be drunk. Mainsail rigged and ready to go. I pulled this and fastened that and spliced the main brace and climbed a halyard. Well, I didn't do any of those things really, but I'm kind of all ready to go. Yes. All right, Captain. Give it all she's got. Island, sailing upwind of it. 2 reasons for sailing upwind of the target. One, if you get downwind, getting back upwind directly into the wind is hard work and something you don't want to do. Also, we're a long distance going across the wind, and as you go across the wind, you're not only going forward, the wind is slowly pushing you sideways. So I'm aiming quite high off the island, so we're going along and back downwind slowly. So that's our first view of Lizard Island. I was reading up about it. Apparently there's a bar on that island. Yeah, we're not talking sandbar, we're talking bar that serves beer. My favorite kind of bar. And if they serve pizza as well as... Whoa! I want to be marooned here for the rest of my life. big jet stream of wind coming between the two islands out there. Meanwhile, this is the main island, and I didn't realise I'm actually there now. This is the anchorage just down there. Is there a green light going to happen, baby? Is that going to happen tonight? That's sometimes what people see when the sun goes down, and it'll be alright. Is the green light going to happen? Oops, hang on, no, computer did. I don't think it did. I don't think it did. I just see orange, baby. I see orange, yeah. That's massive. That's huge. What is it? I couldn't believe this at first, but the place was teeming with fish. I mean, there were just so many of them everywhere, and all different varieties. I don't know what most of them were, but it just enthralled me just to stand there and watch them. And then this guy turned up. No, no, no. Oi, no. Having problems with the reefing gear on the front of the boat. It's an endless rope system. The rope goes through on an endless loop, and sometimes it jams. When it got wet, the join in the loop, the rope itself, swelled and wouldn't go through the system, and that's probably what the cause was. It's down for replacement, but again, I'm in the middle of nowhere. You can't buy rope out here. Okay. Yeah, that works. I have to say, this is probably the most boring place I've ever been. It's very pretty, it's quite nice in the water there with fish, and there's a lagoon down to the side. So it is nice, but for some reason it's just boring. It's just no people, it's like there's nobody here, like everybody's left the island for the weekend. And what didn't help was the fact that the weather was atrocious, overcast and windy. That just looks bad. Bad. As always, it doesn't look much on camera, but it was about 20-something knots constantly while I was there. Yeah. I was gonna go. This is my first time. I've been here. This is my third day now. I haven't been ashore yet. I was gonna go this evening. I've done all my chores on board, all the things I needed to do. Time to go ashore and enjoy myself. But I'm not leaving the boat in this. Meanwhile, decided to do some other kind of work. The wind vane steering rudder was loose. A lot, just general wear really. It was banging around on the back of the boat, so decided to make some packers out of Jubilee clips and see if that would work. And it did. This boat explains exactly my problem here. It has a shallower draft. It can come past me and go and anchor up near the beach out of this incessant wind, which I can't because I'm a big drafted boat. Meaning, of course, I've got a deep keel and I have to anchor out in the bay where the weather is the worst. You can see here, and there's one guy actually behind me as well. He had a longer keel than I did. A bit of keel envy, possibly. That's it for this episode. Hope you enjoyed it. If you have, please subscribe, press the little bell. I'd also like to thank everybody on Patreon that supports me. Thank you so much, my lovely, beautiful friends. Love you. Couldn't do it without you. Out at sea a lot at the moment, but when I'm not at sea, you can catch me here for real-time updates. Thank you again for watching. Take care of yourselves. See you again soon.